Good morning, everyone. I want to go into a little more detail as to how I raced the birds and the things that I did so you can get a good idea of how I raced them. And I was very, very successful. But before I do that, I want to walk out, let the birds out, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, what I want to talk about is what was the routine around the loft. What did I do pretty much every day? And it was a routine. I would do what I did this morning while I was settling the birds. I would let them out. They would hopefully loft fly for whatever time they wanted to fly. Back then, they were really in good shape. They flew an hour and a half, 2 hours. And they would come in, and I would feed them. Now, what did I feed them? I fed them a commercial mix. I can't remember the name of the company, but it was just basic breeder and flyer. It was the basic feed. I also gave them every day a handful of peanuts. Now, I discussed the peanuts many, many times. And what are the benefits of peanuts? We discussed that. But let me repeat it. The peanuts provide all the essential amino acids they need and the fats to give them the gas to go. When a race was approaching, if it was going to be a 300-mile race, I increased the peanuts maybe to 50% of their feed. For a long race, the pigeons need the fats. So I would do that 2 or 3 days before the race, especially, is when I would start giving them the peanuts. I would give them the brewer's yeast and the powdered milk. And that was basically it. It was very simple. We talked about training the birds yesterday. I told you I trained the birds. I took them out to 100 miles as often as I could. The birds would come home, they would go in, and I would feed and water them. That's the basics of what I did. It wasn't very elaborate, nothing special, with the exception of the peanuts. They are so important to racing your pigeons. They provide all the amino acids. They're a little low on methylene, but if you're giving them some kind of wheat or something like that, they have more than an adequate diet. Also, what was important to do around the loft was to medicate them. 3 weeks before the first race, The pigeons got a week of globals, 3-in-1. I think they call it multi-mix, but I call it 3-in-1, is what I gave them. It would take care of the worms, cocci, and canker. I would also give them 2 days of galliumycin. That was just to take care of anything that they had in the way of respiratory. But that was it. They were done. Medication was done. So it was a pretty simple program. And that's really how I did it. Again, the training is far more important than what you do around the loft. Got to get them healthy, yes. But you got to get them down the road. Okay, thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down. Please subscribe. And if you got a question, ask away.